a podcast to honor the gods.
This better come with a sacrifice.
Dave X Media.
The bits.
And welcome to The Bits, hosted by your favorite jam buds, Robert.
And Charlie.
Charlie,
Robert?
I think we've gotten some genuine criticism about this podcast. I think, you know what? It's time for us to reform.
Yeah, we're gonna change up our color scheme, but we're gonna swap the colors, just slightly. My shirt and my pants are gonna swap colors, and that's it. That's the only difference.
Because today we're watching Season 2, Episode 5, Reformed, which premiered April 30th, 2015. Hey, Charlie, did the postman bring us any post?
No, because I read it last episode, which we totally didn't just record 10 minutes ago. What?
What?
Who does that?
Don't look behind the curtains, kid. They're don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain, and neither of us are men. But
Haha.
get it, Wizard of Oz. By the way,
Can you stop?
Jonathan Bailey's choreography during Dancing Through Life gives me everything.
I love how the internet's going crazy for the other choreography though. The book choreography with for this. What is this feeling? Yes.
Yeah, what is this feeling? Which is such a gay-coded song. Jesus.
The fact that that this musical is not queer and yet it is so fucking queer. I think they leaned into it in the movie. I think they leaned into it a little bit.
Yeah, how are you gonna have the two characters who hate each other be like, what is this feeling? And they're like, oh, it's loathing. I hate them. It's like, no, you fucking don't.
Wicked is the blueprint for enemies to lovers, and they didn't make the jump to lovers. Instead, they made it a love triangle. Why?
Because, it's 2005.
Anyway, Steven if you get me talking about Wicked, I will never stop.
Start the timer. Listen, I'm a newbie to Wicked. I have so many questions and so many things I want to know that I kind of want to keep a secret for when I go watch it in Idaho. But hey, I like looking at all the facts and all the things. There is a YouTube channel that does hour-long breakdowns of all the Easter eggs. I definitely watched that. All the Easter eggs and such for Wicked, Part 1.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that the ruby red slippers were copyrighted to the movie, the original 39 Wizard of Oz. So that's why the slippers that are prevalent in the movie are silver, which is to bring back to the book, which is also silver in the book.
I mean, you know why they were ruby red. It's because the Technicolor and whatever. It's
also, Ariana Grande was a great Glinda.
Right? I feel like that was the thing I was not expecting to happen.
Yeah.
I feel like all the theater girlies heard, oh my god, Ariana Grande? What?
And then no, she killed it. She did a good job.
I think the thing is we all forgot that she's played an Airhead before. So she's really good at this.
Yeah.
All right. Steven Universe. Once again, Steven Universe. What does this episode fucking start with? Steven is doing one of my favorite things to do, taking an online quiz to tell you what your personality is.
Based on which character you most relate to. Speaking of Wicked, my boyfriend was asking me, who do you resonate with more, Glinda or Elphaba? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm Elphaba. And he was like, okay, hold the fucking phone. We're pulling out the BuzzFeed quiz right now. And I passed with flying colors as an Elphaba.
There you go. You're an Elphaba.
Yeah.
Yeah, I already know what our question's going to be. As soon as I watched this episode, I was like, oh, I know.
Did you watch Wicked? No. After discovering that he's a sniffling croissant, which sounds like you, he looks for Pearl and Greg, who are working on Greg's van, so
I want
they
to
can.
take this online quiz.
I don't know if it's real. The
I
Greg
don't think so.
Pearl and Greg are working on Greg's van, and so Steven's like, "Hey, you guys should take this quiz." And they're both like, "Ah, Steven, no, we're busy. Maybe later." And so Steven like walks away to find other people to take the quiz. And then Pearl and Greg, once he's gone, are like, "Do you know what this show's even about?" And he's like, "I don't know what anything's about anymore."
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, I love when they make those jokes about like the cartoons and shit, like that we're just the show is like we can make fun of ourselves. It's fine. Don't worry about it, guys. Also, the fact that Pearl and Greg are like hanging out, where listen, my favorite evolution in this show is Pearl and Greg from enemies to besties who share an ex. Uh,
Loading, unadulterated loading for
See,
your
the problem
face, your
here is
voice, your
that one of them is a
clothing.
heterosexual man and the other is a lesbian.
But they don't like each other. That's why.
Well, Greg could be bi, but Pearl's a lesbian. So anyway, so Steven's just trying to find someone to answer this quiz for him. And then finally, Amethyst is here. She wants some motor oil to put on her sandwich.
As one does.
I don't think she gets any. I think she just eats whatever the fuck that is. It's a lot of assorted foods, and I can't look at it for too long, or else I'm gonna want to puke. But she starts answering the questions from this quiz, and it gets like very interesting. Because what is she doing? She's answering everything as the exact opposite of what you would think. Like, okay, do you ever act without thinking? Are you taking this seriously? Like, are you ever afraid of like
I think it's like things being out of your control. What was
taking
it?
risks and
Oh,
trying new
taking risks.
things?
There we go. And
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, Amethyst is just like saying the opposite, and then she feigns being bored when hey, she's laying out all her trauma and insecurities out.
Yeah, and then Stephen is like, "Are you, are you in? Do you feel insecure in your relationships? The way people perceive you?" Like, god damn, this is a quiz.
And Steven answered all these questions apparently without giving them much thought. Like, oh yeah, I guess. No, not really. Yeah, sure. And then he got fucking sniffling croissant.
I love it.
Anyway, he and Amethyst head back into Amethyst's room, and they find Garnet there because Garnet is looking for a corrupted gem in Amethyst's room. And Garnet claims it's similar to the thing they had seen go loose in Pearl's room, which Steven called the Slinker.
And the fact that Amethyst's like, no, we said this thing didn't exist and it wasn't going to be called this Slinker. But guess what? Steven's name stuck. And it does, in fact, exist because it's making holes in Amethyst's room.
So Garnet is like looking around, making a quote unquote mess out of Amethyst's mess. And so that makes Amethyst mad. And she's like, if anyone's going to mess with my stuff, it's going to be me. And she's like kicking around piles of junk, only for her to get wrapped up by the Slinker and poofed.
Yeah. Also, at some point, Amethyst grabs a gas mask. I don't know why she does. I just think it's funny when she's just like, "Oh look, there's a prize inside," and it's a skull.
Didn't she also like kick one like a book that's the book that inspires her and Steven to run away?
Probably. We're gonna find this in continuity later.
I feel like I caught that when I was watching it, but yeah, we'll find out in continue. How do you say it? My brain doesn't let me say continuity. Continuity.
Continuity.
It doesn't. My brain doesn't want me
It's
to say
like
that.
continue. Itty.
English is a terrible language. First and
Yeah,
foremost.
it is. It seriously is. It just lives rent free in my brain.
German, Latin, a little bit of Greek. Fuck it, whatever.
Okay. Yeah. So the Slinker, she poofed, and oh no,
Amethyst is dead. Stop telling people that I'm dead. This is the fucking start. So yeah, Steven is like freaking out. Oh my god, Pearl took 2 weeks to come back. How long is Amethyst gonna take to come back? 20 seconds, not even.
I mean, we already know that Amethyst and Pearl are like night and day. Obviously, Pearl's gonna take her time. She's gonna do it right. And Amethyst is just like, whatever.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I guess when you don't bake when you don't bake long enough, you come out with 4 legs instead of 2 legs and 2 arms.
Yeah. I mean, she probably just wasn't thinking enough. And somehow that happened. And now she has no hands.
Steven finds it funny, but Garnet is pissed because even for her, this regeneration was fast.
Yeah. Well, you don't take 20 seconds to reform your entire body, do you? Come on. Take this seriously.
I mean, just because they keep using the word regeneration, I'm like, oh, Doctor Who, the Doctor, it's like an instant. It's like, boop, he's done.
Okay, but the doctor takes longer than an instant. Like, it becomes a whole thing. Sometimes the TARDIS gets, like, broken in the process. There's usually at least an episode of the doctor being, like, trying to get used to this new body
Yeah.
and, like, healing their
Yeah.
body and all of that before, you know.
And I love like for 3 different regenerations, right? 3, 2. For 2 regenerations, right? 10 and 12s, right. Yes. For 10 and 12s regeneration is just like, stop regenerating in me. You destroy me every fucking time. And when 12 turned into 13, the TARDIS was like, okay, that's it. Out you go. Get the fuck out. Get out. Get out. Drops 13 over London.
Yeah. The TARDIS is just pissed.
I mean, it's funny because it's like, I think every doctor from 9 to 12 regenerate in the TARDIS. And it's only 10 and 12 that regenerate so badly that they fuck up the TARDIS.
It seems like it, yeah.
Yeah. 13 was revolutionary. She was the first one to regenerate outside of the TARDIS.
Takes 2 steps away. That's why Tennant wasn't wearing 13's outfit. Because she wasn't in the TARDIS. Clearly, that's what keeps it. Obviously.
And then the biogeneration didn't happen anywhere near the TARDIS. So hey,
he got no pants.
He got no pants. Right now, we're 2 for 2 of regenerations not happening in the TARDIS and fucking up the TARDIS. It's amazing.
There we go.
So yeah, Amethyst has 4 feet, which is not good. They go down a tunnel, and Steven is like, hey, I wish I had 4 legs. And Garnet is like, well, Pearl takes her time and comes out better, which pisses off Amethyst. So the next time she gets poofed by the Slinker, she comes back again, this time looking more like Pearl. She has like the pointy hair.
It's hilarious.
It's like AI generated bullshit because her feet are like little, like towards the end of her feet, they become like thin little noodles.
I think it's because she's trying to like make Pearl's outfit the way that Pearl wears it, and Pearl's got like these pointed feet and everything. Amethyst doesn't really have those. Like, it just doesn't, it's not the same body shape or anything. But the hair, listen, it's the fact that her hair doesn't get shorter, because we've seen Amethyst with short hair before.
Right.
But Amethyst's hair didn't get shorter. It just became the point. So it's like really long and pointy and can whack things.
Yep.
It's hilarious. I can't.
Now Garnet and Amethyst are arguing about like what a proper regeneration should be and like how it should be like for the team or whatever, and how Amethyst should be focusing on getting like stronger as a person. And so when the Slinker comes and poofs her a 3rd time, she regenerates having like very bulky 1 arm and 1 leg.
Yeah, probably because she couldn't fully get it to be all the way like strong.
You know what? Pearl should show her how to be strong in the real way.
Yeah. Too bad you weren't there for that episode, Amethyst. Huh? I
mean, technically she was. She was just fused with Garnet on an island far away.
Exactly. They weren't there for that entire sequence.
They weren't there to be shown how to be strong in the real way.
Exactly.
Oh, by the way, hey, if you want us to be at PodCon at fucking DashCon 2, have us be at DashCon 2. I almost forgot. I forgot last episode. DashCon 2.
It's been like 2 episodes since you've done that. It's hilarious. All right, so half strong Amethyst. She's trying to be stronger, but it's the fact that it's like 1 arm on one side and the leg on the other side that's strong, so it's really unbalanced.
Which is terrible. And she keeps getting into a fight with the Slinker. And this whole time, Garnet is like, "Hey," I'm sorry, Amethyst is like, "Well, you wanted me to be stronger. Tell me what you wanted. I'll turn into that." And Garnet's like, "I can't tell you what, like, how to change or whatever." And then and then Amethyst gets poofed a fourth time. And Garnet just walks up and fucking rocks the shit out of the Slinker, which is great.
Yeah, so Amethyst is poofed. Once again. Steven is numb to this.
That's also my favorite line. Is it weird that I'm getting numb to this?
Yeah. But hey, it's fine. They caught the Slinker.
No, they like Garnet punches it away and they retreat because they're like, okay, fuck this. Amethyst is having a moment. And so they
Okay,
go
I
back to
was
the
like,
beach house.
why did they leave? That's what happened.
They retreat.
So
They go back to the beach house, and Steven's like looking at Steven's looking at Amethyst's gem, being like, "Oh my god, when's she gonna come back?" And Pearl's like, "How long has she been like that?" And Steven's like, 4 hours. It's like, 4 hours? That's so long for her.
long.
And then Amethyst finally regenerates. By the way, because every time a gem regenerates, they like briefly go through all their forms as like they're finalizing.
Yeah.
She goes through the 4 different forms of nonsense before she finally regenerates properly into Amethyst, and her new form is just the colors of her shirt and her sweatpants inverted.
She fixed her strap, and it always bothered Pearl. Yeah, I do love how Steven is just like, hey, everybody shut up. You're going to be supportive, okay? This is my friend. You be supportive of her and her choices. She spent 4 hours on it. And the Garnet likes it because it's her. It's just her. Everything is fine, guys. And they all hug her because, they're being mushy and gushy. And Amethyst is like, oh, come on, guys. But secretly she's like, she's looking away from them and she's like happy. She's smiling. She likes it.
And so the episode ends with like the group hug, and Amethyst is pretending not to enjoy it until the iris closes on her, and she pulls a really creepy kind of like blushy face, and then the episode ends.
Yeah. Hey, Robert.
Hey, Chuck.
Wow. We should go to the Crystal Temple.
There's some Crystal Temple trivia.
In honor of this episode, the Crewniverse shared grape popsicle amethyst gemstones prepared by Christy Cohen.
The crying breakfast friends characters that appear in the episode are correlated to the crystal gems and Greg. Stephen indirectly describes both Pearl's and Greg's characteristics through Weeping Egg Cup and Pining Grapefruit, respectively. Afterward, he directly describes Garnet through spilled milk.
It is currently unknown when the first encounter with the Chrysocala occurred. I assume that's what the Slinker is, as there have been no prior nor later episodes on the subject.
The hiatus was announced on the official Crewniverse Tumblr on April 30th after Reformed aired.
When Amethyst rushes her Pearl regeneration, a variation of Pearl's theme plays. Oh, I didn't notice that.
And now for some cultural references. A gyroid, a peach, and a pot of pansies resembling ones found in Animal Crossing appear in the room.
A bottle of Lon Lon milk from the Legend of Zelda series can be seen on the kitchen shelf shortly before Amethyst reforms for the final time.
The wheel from the American television game show Wheel of Fortune can also be spotted in the room behind Steven after Amethyst's first regeneration.
The slime monster from the Dragon Quest series can also be found to the left of Amethyst as she searches her pile of junk.
After Steven jokes about Amethyst's feat for arm regenerations, he says "nyuk nyuk nyuk," which may be a nod to the Three Stooges in comedy.
The Black Iron Great Shield from Dark Souls and the Grim Great Hammer from Dark Souls 2 can be shortly seen when Garnet shoots her fist toward the Slinker the first time.
A question mark block from the Super Mario series can be seen to the left of the large ice cream cone and a giant Rubik's Cube, and above the Wheel of Fortune multiple times, most clearly after Amethyst's first regeneration. A super leaf from the same series can be seen on the ground in multiple shots as well.
Garnet also throws 2 objects before exclaiming "there," one of which is a blank-eyed Dorama doll.
And a Maneki Neko, or Lucky Cat, statue is also on top of the same junk pile.
Continuity. Amethyst is shown to have kept the fashion magazine from Beach Party as it appears in her room. She also appears to possess a copy of the No Homeboys, the mystery train from On the Run.
I was
As
correct. I
you
saw it.
said.
Stephen recalls the events of Stephen the Sword Fighter.
During Amethyst's final regeneration, several different assumed previous regenerations, silhouettes of Amethyst can be seen, similar to how several of Pearl's previous forms can be seen in Stephen the Sword Fighter. In these silhouettes, Amethyst flashback, regeneration in Story for Stephen, We Need to Talk, and Greg the Babysitter can be spotted, as well as what's assumed to be her regeneration from the beginning of We Are the Crystal Gems. Which I always forget which one we do first. Who's getting the pearl point for this episode? What is the pearl point going to?
I'm gonna give it to Stephen.
You giving it to Steven?
Yeah.
Just cause?
Just cause.
I'm giving it to the Crying Breakfast Fans quiz that I want to see. I want to see it. I want to take it. Where is this quiz? Come on. And for the question, what personality quiz do you always make your friends take with you?
I haven't in a while, but I've made. There was a time in my life where I would, after you get comfortable with someone and whatever, I would make most people I know take the BDSM test.
Oh my god, I've taken that.
It's a fun test. Good to, good to, hey, nice little party thing to do with your friends.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, I love doing the types where it's like Steven does, where it's like, hey, which character from this thing are you?
I'm not big on that. No, unfortunately.
But you're Alphaba. We've already established this.
We've established this. Who do you identify with in Wicked?
Who do I identify with in Wicked?
Yeah.
I mean, besides Bach, yeah, I'm probably also an Alphaba.
Oh, the fun thing about Bach and like I recognized it, but my boyfriend also clocked it, was that he played SpongeBob in the SpongeBob SquarePants musical.
That's where he looked familiar. I haven't seen that musical, but I've seen like the pictures from it. So I was like, why does your face look familiar? Where have I seen you from?
You've seen him on stage pretending to be SpongeBob SquarePants.
Apparently.
Yep. Hey, Charlie.
Hey, Robert.
Every podcast, we're perfect.
We wouldn't have the bits.
Bye. You can follow this podcast socials at thebitssupod on Instagram and Tumblr. You can send a message to our Diamond Line through thebitssupod@gmail.com. If you'd like to support us financially, join us at our Patreon, patreon.com/thebitsu. By becoming a patron, you can join the Deus Ex Media Discord server, where you'll be able to chat with us and other listeners about Steven Universe, or whatever else. Our $5 patron tier also gets you access to Steven's Room, our monthly bonus show. There, we'll be talking about a wide variety of topics, which usually have something to do with Steven in some way. No promises.
You can check out our merch store, The Bits SU, on Redbubble to find custom designs made by yours truly. Or if you cannot or do not want to support us financially, we'd really appreciate a rating, a review, or even letting your friends and followers know how much you love the podcast. It really helps. Our music was written and produced by Jason Hilton. You can find him at Negative Selections on Instagram. You can follow me, Charlie, at GreenPixie12 on most platforms. I also have an art Instagram at GreenPixieDraws.
You can find me, Robert, at the Damn Meme Page on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Blue Sky. If you want to have more from me, check out my YouTube channel, also called The Damn Meme Page, where I make videos mainly about Percy Jackson, but also sometimes other fun stuff. The Bits is proud to be a part of Deus Ex Media, which features great podcasts like Burn Before Reading, a podcast about literature, where your hosts, Christina and Leela, cringe about writing.
I'm Christina Kahn. And I'm Leela Hilton,
And this is Burn Before Reading,
the podcast about shiterature.
We're here to examine the terrible writing we did when we were younger.
Like that school project you were really proud of.
Or that poem you wrote when you got dumped.
Well, how about that apology letter you wrote to your mom when you got into that fight?
Or the song you recorded before you knew how to write music.
Okay, don't at me. And we're here to talk about other cringy literary topics along the way.
Like the Library of Alexandria.
And Dewey Decimal.
His name was Melville Dewey.
Oh, well, do we want to get the clips rolling?
I don't think I ever recovered from this in terms of being cool.
Why did I say any of this?
I do like the drama.
So there is actually quite a bit to unpack here.
Oh, all this drama was so addictive as a teenager.
There's no punctuation to it. I'll start with that.
I actually have no memory of this.
There were so many lies that I was telling it.
It's not terrible.
No one really taught me how to write a good short story.
That was a journey.
Listen to Burn Before Reading
Every Wednesday, wherever pods are cast.
Why are 37% of your listeners 55 plus?
I have that question too, okay?
Because I'm
Who
just
is listening? That is
I'm also just
55
like,
plus.
I just have it right now on my phone for shits and giggles because I saw you posted it and I'm like, damn.
I want to know, who are these 55 plus listeners?
35% of your listeners. It's amazing. Anyway.
Dave X Media.